up next.
On Your Pittsburgh.
From Cheers to CSI, you know Ted Danson, but do you know his Pittsburgh connection?
Very happy to be here to say thank you.
And what about the possibility of bringing Cheers back?
Would you ever consider a reboot of Cheers?
A local woman makes a daring move to quit her job and follow her dream.
I'm Megan Schiller. How she made it pay off, and the cool things she makes you may want to buy.
Fans flock to see the Wahlburg brothers visit their Pittsburgh restaurant. But find out what else brings Donnie and Mark to town.
It was supposed to be our area's transportation of tomorrow.
The transportation industry needs a new idea.
Even Walt Disney came to see it. So what derailed Skybus? You wanted to know, so we're getting the answer.
And Susan and I check out a new restaurant with food presented so perfectly, it's almost too pretty to eat.
This is picture perfect.
And this is beautiful.
From KDKA-TV, this is Your Pittsburgh with David Highfield and Susan Copen.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Your Pittsburgh. And if our background tonight seems a little tropical, that's because we're visiting one of the city's newest attractions.
We're going to take a ride on one of the new tiki boats a little bit later on. But first, we're talking about a celebrity with a Pittsburgh connection. You probably know him from Cheers and other TV shows.
Yeah, probably everyone knows his name. We're talking about Ted Danson. I had a chance to sit down with him and found out that a Pittsburgh place has a very special place in his heart.
Making your way in the world today.
When you think Ted Danson, you can't help but think of Sam Malone, the bar owner from Cheers he played for 11 years.
I didn't know you thought I was attractive.
You rose to stardom as an iconic television star.
But years before the stardom, he studied acting in Pittsburgh at Carnegie Mellon School of Drama, a 1972 graduate, and the university recently presented him with an honorary doctorate.
Carnegie Mellon is honored to award you the honorary degree of Doctor of Fine Arts.
He waved to fans in the crowd who shouted his name, and while on campus, posed for pics with graduates.
Congratulations. Good luck. Very happy to be here to say thank you. The doctorate part, you know, well, I'll hang my robe and hat next to my cowboy hat and my little Indian headdress, you know, all my other make-believe clothes, because it doesn't really ring true. I'm an actor, thank God, because as an academic, no, it was not going to happen.
Ted grew up in Arizona, the son of an archaeologist, and says being an actor was kind of like running away to the circus. But at CMU,
I got to bury myself in what was my passion.
He did find time, however, for a summer job here at the Continental Can Company in West Mifflin.
So what did you made cans?
I made havoc. Is what I did.
Actually, he helped package empty shaving cream cans. So his job was
to take this wooden fork with 8 prongs and put them in the end of the foaming cans and then put them in a box like this for 8 hours. When I came to work, I was in a sling the next day.
A more favorable memory, how delicious he says the onion rings were at the Squirrel Hill Cafe. But it was his opportunity to dive into theater here that he loved the most.
Very easygoing, very sweet. And as an actor, he's so spontaneous and free.
Tony McKay teaches acting at CMU, but he also graduated from there and was a couple years ahead of Ted.
But I knew him better after I left school. I directed him in 2 plays in New York. I remember the producer of one of the plays said, "He's the next Cary Grant."
Of course, Ted's charm is undeniable, whether he's solving crimes on CSI,
D.B. Russell, new guy,
or being irritable on Becker.
It's the fluke! For God's sake, Mr. Ehrlich, what the hell's the matter with you?
From TV, his newest role is on The Good Place, to movies.
Good night, sweetheart.
Remember 3 Men and a Baby? And check out one of his earliest films.
You better get your foot out of the door. You're gonna lose about half of it.
Creepshow was directed by fellow CMU grad George Romero, and Ted's character met a terrifying demise. But it's the role of Sam Malone that won him 2 Emmys. And why does he think Cheers was such a hit?
You never really know why things are popular, but it's the writing. It was funny. It was funny.
And with shows like Will and Grace and Murphy Brown coming back,
would you ever consider a reboot of Cheers?
Not a prayer, no. We were aging adolescents 30 years ago, misbehaving in a bar and being adolescent when you're 70, that's so funny.
While Ted says he often has things in common with the characters he plays,
All the foibles that he portrays on TV, Sam Malone's vanity, Dr. Becker's ill temper, I've never known him to possess those.
and as for CMU, he has nothing but gratitude.
What an amazing opportunity it is to say thank you to Carnegie Mellon, to the drama department, because it was everything in my life.
And here's something you may not know. He's an environmental activist. Ted has actually written a book about saving the oceans.
And you've met a lot of celebrities. What was he like?
You know, very relaxed, very genuine. I instantly liked him.
Good stuff. All right, have you ever thought about quitting your job and doing something you really love?
Well, a local woman has done it, and so has her husband, and you may want to try it too.
Megan Schiller joins us now with this story. What exactly does she do?
Well, she makes some really cool stuff, from makeup bags to jewelry dishes, all the way to coffee mugs. They have some funny and inspirational messages on them, and right now they're all being sold on Amazon.
Melissa Horvath of Sewickley is a mom, wife, and someone who took a chance to make her dream a reality.
So these are our motivational planners.
She's created a company called Sweetwater Decor, where she designs and sells candles, makeup bags, greeting cards, jewelry dishes, wooden signs, coffee mugs, and travel mugs. Some have hand-lettered inspirational messages.
This one's "Hello, gorgeous" here, and so she believed she could, so she did.
Others have messages that just make you smile.
This is probably wine.
And some have artistic touches.
I literally put my eyelashes on everything.
Melissa used to have a job in the corporate world, working with numbers.
I've always just loved design since I've been young, and the number aspect of it too. I've always loved math and being right and left brain. It just kind of all came together to own my own business.
The idea came about when she was looking for invitations for her wedding.
I thought, maybe I can just make my own, and it just kind of started from there.
She began selling invitations and print art on Etsy, and then she was making coffee mugs in her basement.
Every day after work, I'd gather my orders and go down to the basement and make these mugs.
But it started paying so well, she was making as much as she did at work.
After 9 months of opening our Etsy shop, we took off and I quit the corporate world.
That's when she was recruited by Amazon Marketplace to sell her items on their site, and she wasn't sure what to expect.
Amazon's just such a huge company. You know, being a small company out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, like, how are they going to find us on this huge website?
But sales in the first and second year tripled, and they're now projected to quadruple. Her husband quit his job to add his sales experience, and now they both work from home.
It's really great. I mean, it's a double-edged sword because you can go outside for a walk at 10 o'clock in the morning, but then you might also be responsible for working at 10 o'clock at night.
All their candles are poured in Sewickley, and they also have a product warehouse and 5 employees. And now, Melissa has become the title on one of her best-selling mugs, a boss lady, and she's loving every minute.
When you have calling in your heart and you know that little, you have to do something, you have to go for it.
And you could see on that bag, "Be the girl who decided to go for it." It's one of her favorite phrases, and she definitely did it.
I love her stuff, I have to say that. But it's scary to go out on your own like that and do something like this.
I know, she really risked it. She has her own website, but she said the biggest leap was going out onto Amazon. So now if you have an Amazon Prime membership, you can get her stuff sent to your door within days.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Thanks, Megan.
Thank you.
Still to come.
I got a lot of friends here in Pittsburgh.
As Mark and Donnie Wahlberg visit their restaurant here, we'll learn about their other ties to the region.
David and I check out another cool new restaurant where you won't want to leave anything behind.
Your plate is clean again.
It's nice and clean. Aloha, everybody!
All aboard. Don't forget, we're taking a cruise on one of Pittsburgh's new tiki boats.
And right after the break, we take a ride into the future, at least what could have been our future. See what Skybus was all about. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the Emmy Award-winning Your Pittsburgh, honored with 2 more Mid-Atlantic Emmy nominations this year.
Welcome back from the North Shore as we get ready to ride on one of the new tiki boats. But first, the You Wanted to Know segment.
Yeah, last time we asked, do you want to know about Skybus? It was supposed to be our area's transportation of tomorrow. It became reality elsewhere, so what derailed it here?
Or why do all Pittsburgh sports teams have black and gold for their colors? There's a reason for it. Do you want to know what it is?
Well, with 60% of the vote, Skybus is the winner. So tonight, we take a ride back to the future.
Wow, this old Westinghouse film shows Skybus in action. The year, 1965. The company had created a test loop in South Park to show it off.
The transportation industry needs a new idea.
It was supposed to be a solution to Pittsburgh's crowded highways, electric cars on an elevated track. Thousands of people remember riding the test course.
Oh yeah, 5 years old, I actually rode it.
And it made quite an impression on Doug Brendel. He's become a Skybus historian and showed us where it used to run.
Totally different, everything was so cleared-eyed.
Today, the track is gone. All that remains is the old North Station. Inside, what appears to be a battery charger for the system. But it's really the memories that remain.
When the doors open, it was just really cold. The air conditioning, because it was so hot. But then how smooth and quiet the ride was. I vividly remember that. It was almost like a hum.
Skybus was unique because there was no onboard operator. It had a concrete track and rubber wheels. Even Walt Disney came to see it, perhaps doing research before deciding to go with the monorail in Disney World. But eventually, the Skybus plan was scrapped for Allegheny County.
Politicians just started going at each other, and the cost did get pretty high.
2 of the cars were demolished, but nearly a decade ago, Doug tracked down the third at a company in Elwood City.
It's been a long, long time since I've seen that vehicle.
And some of the original Westinghouse engineers came together to see it again. It's now restored and sits outside the plant that was Westinghouse, now Bombardier in West Mifflin.
And walking onto the Skybus is kind of like walking back in time. But you have to think back in the 60s, all of this probably seemed very futuristic.
While Skybus did not become our region's transportation of tomorrow, it was adopted by the Tampa Airport and many others. Even the trains at Pittsburgh International are a version of the technology created decades ago.
What they developed, they should be proud of because it's still being used. You know, after 56 years.
An idea from the past that keeps rolling into the future.
Now, the old Skybus outside Bombardier in West Mifflin will actually have to find a new home.
The company has announced it's moving operations out of that building, so it's contacting museums and other folks, David, to see if anyone wants to take it. Now it's time for you to vote.
Do you want to know about the Oriental rug that helped bring down a Pittsburgh mayor? How he wound up sentenced to jail? It's a story worth unraveling.
Or do you want to know how the banana split was born? It was invented right here in Western Pennsylvania. We'll get the scoop for you.
Let us know which one you want to know about. Go to KDKA.com/YourPittsburgh and vote. Whichever story gets more votes, we'll have for you on our next show. Still to come, a trip to a local bakery that makes almost everything with a special ingredient, alcohol.
Cheers.
Cheers.
David and I check out a new restaurant with a Chicago chef who's come to Pittsburgh to cook up some amazing dishes.
I felt his arm, and it's really big and solid.
And after the break, Mark and Donnie Wahlberg's message to their Pittsburgh fans. We'll be right back.
You're watching Your Pittsburgh on KDKA-TV with David Highfield and Susan Copen.
Welcome back as we come to you from the North Shore in front of one of Pittsburgh's new tiki boats.
Well, you know, on Your Pittsburgh, we love to talk about food. Well, this next story has to do with food and fame. Mark and Donnie Wahlberg opened up a restaurant here along with their brother.
Turns out they already had some Pittsburgh connections, and as we learned on a recent visit, they have plenty of Pittsburgh fans.
If there was any doubt Mark and Donnie Wahlberg have the right stuff, take a look at the crowd that showed up last month at the Block Northway in Ross, all clamoring to get a selfie, and some did.
Dream come true, it finally happened! Finally! The best thing in the world! his arm, and it's really big and solid.
The two were visiting the Wahlburgers restaurant the family opened there. Donnie, of course, from New Kids on the Block fame.
Too black.
Now he stars on the CBS show Blue Bloods. And Mark, you know, Marky Mark.
We made the right call.
Who's now a big movie star.
It's amazing turnout. Very, very excited. I got a lot of friends here in Pittsburgh. Home of performance-inspired nutrition.
Performance Inspired Nutrition is a supplement company based in Warrendale that Mark co-founded. And Donnie told us about a time he filmed in Pittsburgh.
I love Pittsburgh, one of my favorite cities. I lived in Pittsburgh for a while, actually, in the Strip District. Pork Factory building. Shout out to Heinz Ward and all my people in the Pork Factory.
And let's not forget their brother Paul, the culinary mind behind Wahlburgers, a chain of restaurants which specialize in burgers, and they've even cooked up one inspired by our burg.
The featured burger's gonna have pierogies on it, and caramelized onions and Heinz 57, and it's delicious.
And even though the Wahlbergs are from Boston, they respect our fan loyalty to the Steelers. Paul was even given a signed Mean Joe Green jersey.
Every kid in America's dream was to get Joe Green's jersey thrown to them, and now Paul's childhood dream has come true. Thank you.
Referring to the famous Coke commercial that showed Mean Joe's softer side.
Thanks, Mean Joe.
All I need is my Coke.
Oh, and don't think they didn't learn a thing or two while in the burg. Turns out they even picked up some Pittsburghese.
We can't say Jagoff on CBS. Can't say it. Can't say it. Beep that out.
And actually, you can say that on KDKA. He just did.
It's in the dictionary, after all.
It is in the dictionary. Okay, a place that bakes with booze.
For men who like to wear their shirts untucked, there's a new place to shop.
And 1 million Legos can make something pretty impressive.
Just some of what's happening as we check out what's new in the burg. You can see the world's largest Lego art display at the Carnegie Science Center. More than 100 sculptures made entirely of Legos, from a dinosaur to the Mona Lisa to something the artist made just for Pittsburgh. It runs through January.
You have until Labor Day to ride the new zip line at the Pittsburgh Zoo. It's 25 feet in the air, and you zip along for 170 feet above giant anteaters and pygmy hippos. You may also see giraffes and elephants.
Guys who like to wear their shirts untucked have a new place to shop. The popular online retailer Untuck It has opened at the Ross Park Mall. The shirts are known for a curved hemline and shorter length.
You'll soon be able to buy paint and nails at some Giant Eagle locations. 4 Giant Eagles will have Ace hardware stores in them. It's happening in Ross, Shaler, North Huntingdon, and Allegheny Township.
There's a new place to shop for groceries. Fresh Time has moved into our area with stores in Pleasant Hills and Bridgeville. The company focuses on natural and organic items.
And a bakery in Point Breeze focuses on making delicious treats with alcohol. Prohibition Pastries makes maple bacon cookies with bourbon, brownies with lavender bitters, and brandied apricot muffins. The owner uses locally produced alcohol and has a favorite.
For the most part, it's whiskey, which just happens to be one of my favorite beverages, and gin, which is one of the most floral and invigorating flavors for pastries.
Now, she says the alcohol bakes off and then you just have the flavor afterwards.
And she does make some items without alcohol, like her grandmother's sticky buns.
Still to come, we're going to take a ride on one of the tiki boats.
Aloha, everybody! And it's also time to eat. If you're a foodie, we're checking out a restaurant you'll absolutely love. Stay with us.
Contact us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We want to know what you want to see. After all, our show is called
Your Pittsburgh.
Your Pittsburgh. Your Pittsburgh.
Your Pittsburgh.
Your Pittsburgh.
Your Pittsburgh.
Your Pittsburgh.
Your Pittsburgh.
Your Pittsburgh.
Welcome back, everybody. As promised, we are out on one of the tiki boats on the river, and it does have a tropical feel.
In fact, it doesn't even feel like Pittsburgh. It feels like you are in the tropics, but it is Pittsburgh. In fact, the company that started this here is called Cruisin' Tiki's Pittsburgh. They actually have 2 boats. It costs $400 for 6 people to ride for 2 hours.
There is an experienced captain who goes out with you, and they provide a cooler and ice, but you provide the adult beverages. Cheers.
Cheers. And I just want to point out, they have a railing all the way around here. So for people like me who can't swim, safety first.
Just in case.
Just in case. Okay, this is when we visit an exciting new restaurant, and tonight we head to Shadyside.
The restaurant is called Acorn. It's on Walnut Street, and David and I are nutty about it. Walk into Acorn and you can tell you're in for a treat. People smiling, enjoying beautifully presented meals. It's sophisticated yet casual. The menu is described as modern American. David and I start with 2 small plates, charred cauliflower with walnuts and croutons, and a tasty tabbouleh with lemon and mint.
It's fresh.
That's what I was thinking.
It's fresh.
But get ready for the main course.
Holy cow.
Wow. Beef tenderloin for 2 with grilled peaches and carrots, goat cheese. It's almost too pretty to eat.
This is picture perfect.
This is beautiful.
We can't disturb it.
So we became those people and start snapping pics of our food. And once we finally try it, delicious.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
We also order house-made pasta with white asparagus pesto and shaved truffles, not to mention smoked potatoes with endive.
These are spicy and yummy.
Owner Scott Walton was a successful chef in Chicago for more than a decade and loves to use local ingredients. He keeps the menu selective.
I wanted to be really, really good at 16 things. That's it, 16. I didn't want to do 30. Okay, I wanted to be really, really good at 16.
Now, time for dessert.
Okay, David, stop talking and dig in.
Okay.
The perfect ending, shortcake biscuits with goat milk, vanilla ice cream, and strawberries.
This place does not disappoint. Cheers. Chef Walton is half chef, half rock star. He makes his way from table to table in the restaurant, and you should go just to see him.
He's very cool. He's originally from Chicago, but his wife is from here. So they moved here when she got a job here, and we're glad she did, because now we can all go to Acorn. And we have more information for you at KDKA.com/YourPittsburgh. And before we go, a reminder to join us on Facebook right after this show.
Just like the Your Pittsburgh Facebook page and chime in to our live chat.
And that's going to do it for tonight. From all of us here, thanks for watching.
And a big thank you to Cruisin' Tiki's Pittsburgh. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.